Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to a very special edition of Poets Without Borders live FB poetry show. I hope you all are doing great. The winter's here, finally. Beautiful pictures of snow from abroad. And we too are beginning to feel the chill. So we are going to sizzle you with some warm poetry. This is very special because this is our year end, our New Year's, our Christmas, our Thanksgiving, our Diwali, our Hanukkah reading all combined. Not that we are going to disappear in the New Year's, but still, uh, we are all, I think, going to just sit around and warm ourselves with the fire and write some more poetry before we come back. So before we actually start reading, I just also want to share that this is very, very special because this Halloween actually Poets Without Borders completed 1 year. So it's first birthday reading as well, which is, big for me and big for all of my friends and poets here from all over the world whom we are going to meet in a minute. So I think the first poet whom I'm going to invite is from Singapore. She's joining us from Singapore. Sylvia Ang, warm welcome to you. A very gifted poetess and a gifted cook. She likes to share all kinds of fish cooking things on Facebook, right? So what is your poem today all about, Sylvia? Are you here? Saw you.
Mute. Okay, already I'm mute. Hi, everybody. This is Sylvia. Greeting from Singapore. You can check me out at my Facebook Poetry Experiments with an S. I'm reading a poem which I just wrote recently. It's called Christmas Stock Take. This Christmas, I like to deck my Christmas tree with a dream of stock taking of my life as year end is drawing close. As I reflect the year, I ponder why I attract greedy people. What subtle action that draw them to me? Santa says, shh, is a no to share personal info about property, CPF, salary, retirement fund. Is your home rental or you purchase? Have you paid up? You are to be blamed for your innocence. Greedy people think the world owns them a lot. They will claim a slice of my life regularly without shame. Little that I know, they ask for a share of my property. They ask to manage my property and money. It's time to take stock of my life before Christmas and take action. It's time to set boundary, not to be involved or ask questions about my personal private life. Santa, I'm now safe and secure. This Christmas as ho ho ho, heading to Poets Without Borders open mic poetry event to read this poetry. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for joining. And what a wonderful poem. What a beautiful metaphor of the Christmas tree, the Christmas season, and all that means and all that comes into the meaning of celebration, the putting together of a beautiful life, right? From the paying of the bills to standing up for your rights. Thank you so very much, ma'am, for your beautiful poem. And now we're going to go over to Australia and ask Mick Mezza to please read us a poem. A very gifted poet again. I have had the opportunity of reading a beautiful poem by him that talks about actually his family lineage. I think that's the poem that he also read and since then has edited. This is about his grandfather, his grandmother, And through them, the entire story of so much of settler history and immigrant history comes into picture, comes into the reader's view. Wow. So what is the poem that you're reading today, Mick?
It's called In Life That Matters. Good evening. Oh, hello all, whatever time zone in the world it is. It's called In Life That Matters. It's those little things in life that matter. Soldiers between trenches, guns on ground, exchange cigarettes, handshakes, Christmas Day on Flanders fields. Yearly ritual merges community, shop fronts decorated to entice consumers. At night, houses illuminate, facades, roof spines, nativity sets reenact an infinite image. It's those little ones in life that matter. They tear a paper parcels, reveals itself, and eyelashes touch eyebrows, and a wow explodes from their mouths. Residents at candlelight vigils in harmony, they sing. Ritual delivers peace. Let it bless our souls always. Thank you.
Everybody, please give him a round of applause. Everybody, let's cheer our poets because they really deserve it. Everybody is wonderful. And indeed, the poems that I have heard from you in the past and the poems that I am going to hear tonight are all great. So let's give our poets a big round of applause. And what a beautiful poem. I need not go into the details, but a beautiful picture of the lighting and all the beautiful things that go up with it. All of our hopes and dreams, and the way you seek blessings is amazing. So thank you, Mick. And now I think I am going to go to Maldives, right? To Lucilla, who is celebrating her anniversary, which is coming up on this 15th. I'm sorry about breaking the news like that and sharing your private details, Lucilla, but I'm very bad with keeping vacation secrets. So she's joining us from a beautiful, I think, a bamboo thatched hut, very romantic in Malé, Maldives, right?
Yes. Yes, thank you. Okay, it was a bit strange that everybody was saying, yeah, where you are is warm. Okay. So you might have noticed that in the last period I've been a bit absent. I've been living a little bit like a hermit crab, which on this island there are a lot. But in Italy. I went back a lot, also memories. And, I don't know, I started writing poems about my childhood. And that's the one that I would like to share. And since my poems are short, I will read in Italian and in English. C'è sempre un prima e un dopo di qualcosa. Le mani di mio padre. Stelle marine sui nostri visi di bambina. Ci ricoprivi il viso con le mani aperte mentre andavi via e noi luccicavamo con la parola ancora. Dopo, il tuo armadio vuoto, una mappa senza coordinate, rivelava dei segreti che capimmo poi. C'è un prima e un dopo di qualcosa, una meteora caduta sulla Terra che cambia ogni traiettoria. Non conosco più la lingua dei miei avi. There is always a before and an after of something. My father's hands were starfish on our baby cheeks. You covered our giggles with your open hands. As you walked away, we were sparkles and glitters and the word again. After, your empty closet, a map without coordinates. Silent secrets we comprehended later. There is always a before and an after of something, a meteor falling to earth that changes each trajectory. I no longer know the language of my ancestors. Thank you.
Absolutely gorgeous. What beautiful days they were when we used to cover our mouths, our giggles, our mouth full of laughter, right? So thank you. Beautiful, beautiful poem with wonderful lines. Thank you as always, Lucilla, and thank you for treating us to some beautiful Italian. Thank you so very much. And now I think I am going to ask our very dear friend joining us from China, James. I think it's very, very late there as well. It's past midnight, if I am not wrong. James, also tell us what time it is in China. James is this poet, gifted poet, and an amazing translator who I think is gaining the world's attention with his translation zeal and enthusiasm and gift and skill, and has been invited everywhere from Kenya to Yugoslavia, right? So,
Yeah.
James, what is the poem that you're reading for us tonight? And what time is it also, please, if you can tell us?
It's 10 o'clock p.m. now here.
Only?
Yes.
Oh,
10
wow.
o'clock. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much for the praises from my dear sister, Pankhuri. And just the old sentences again. Very glad to meet you all, my all family members, and I'm very happy each time of these meaningful meetings. And this time, what my poem is just the imaginative writing again. The name is The Love and the Belief. And now I will recite. The love, the belief. I got to know when I'm leaving, how sweet time that with you all to keep the Lord in heaven. Just in this moment, being silent and staring at you, all will for me, and that I can feel I do. How could we let the time pass in vain, just to let the love stay in our love to take a sign? In my book, there is easy to keep closer, don't walk the tightrope, especially while the pain. Hope is love and a lot of nerve to whisper to earth, don't forget to heal the world. Time is going like no motions indeed, but the beliefs will still prevail among the search forever. Thank you very much. And Happy New Year, Happy Christmas in advance. Thank you very much. Love you all.
Thank you, James. Very beautiful poem on love, right? Wonderful poem. Thank you so very much. And now, before we go to Europe, I think I am going to call some friends from India. Actually, before we come to India, I think I'm going to go over to Philippines and ask my dear friend Mildred if she wants to read us a poem for us. Not if she wants to, she has to. We are all waiting for it. A wonderful poetess again. You all know her. She is a judge for so many competitions and above all a gifted poetess herself. So warm welcome to you, Mildred. Are you here? Can you hear me? And are you here? Okay, I think she can't hear me. So I think I am going to remain in Philippines and ask Eden ma'am. I think Eden ma'am is in Philippines if I have my info right. It's such a pleasure to have you. It's such an honor to have you, ma'am. Warm welcome to you. We all know her. She is the enigmatic force somewhat behind this concept of Burland, a very gifted poetess, and behind so many of our great poetry projects. So warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Hi, hello. Nice being here again for the second time. I miss a lot of your session, but I am happy that on the last month I'm with you. Nice to see the good friends like Xanthi. Hello, Xanthi. And of course, Isaac. Hello, Isaac. And of course, Tian from China. And of course, our host, Ma'am Pankhuri Sinha. I am torn between two poems, which one I want to read. I want to read something about Christmas because of the season, but I also want to share my poem about for the children of Afghanistan. So I think I'll choose this poem for the Afghan children. Yes, I'm from Philippines as well, but my background is the national flower of the country of Nepal. They call rhododendrons. Yeah, I forgot the Nepal name. I like the pink flower. So let me share to you, my poet friends, this poem that I wrote for the children in Afghanistan. Let's hug them in our prayers. A prayer for the little Afghans. Let's hug them in our prayers. The wailing innocent in fears, encircling them sweetly. Sending tender kisses unceasingly, caressing their unblinking weary eyes. Let's hug them in our supplication, reassuring the cubs with adoration, serenely touching their unguarded emotion, fervently caress in their agitation and empathy with their affliction. Let's hug them in our prayers. They are the purest of souls. Shuddering, they couldn't play gaily with their dolls. Let's teach them lovingly the ABCs of hopes and the juggling numbers to entrust their cares. Let's hug them in our prayers, intertwine them in our dreams, in every life's pause and commas, quench their tears and sorrows, cover them with the warm blankets of inextinguishable hopes. Let's hug them in our prayers, every second and in every hour, magnified petition to the Almighty in heaven, to send the cherubs and the angels to be vigilant and to watch them over. Please, let's hug them in our prayers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. What a touching poem and what a powerful poem. Indeed, the children of Afghanistan need and deserve this from us, and it should be our duty. So thank you very much for that very beautiful and very touching poem. Thank you, ma'am. We need to hug them in our prayers, indeed.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
Thank you, ma'am. Our pleasure and honor. And now again, I am going to call upon our dear friend, Mildred. Can you hear me? I don't think she can hear me. So I am going to ask our good friend, Prasanna ji, to go ahead with his poetry. Prasanna ji is again a very good poet. We all know him. He's also a judge for many, many Facebook events, and somebody who's been participating in festivals all over in Latin America, just sort of back from Mexico, if online tours, are counted like that. But yes, they can be very transported. Are you here, Prasanna ji?
No, just give a minute. Just give a minute, ma'am. Just connecting.
Okay, all right. So now then what I will do is I will go to our neighboring country, Bangladesh. Dear friends, I'm so happy that a poet from Bangladesh has joined us for the first time. Toufiz Zohur Sahab, warm welcome to you. So nice to have you with us. Again, a very gifted poet.
I cannot understand all the languages, but I can feel the. Yes, I'm here.
Yes, yes. Somebody else. microphone is on and they need to
Yes,
mute.
yes. Language, but poetry is very more than part. Yeah.
Do you hear me?
From?
Do you hear me?
Toufiz, can you hear me?
But there is background noise.
Something is on in the background, which you need to turn off so we can hear you properly.
There is a television,
Okay,
perhaps.
It sounds okay now.
Camera.
It's okay.
Oh, no, it's not.
Second, just a second. It's not okay.
It's like art.
I think there is a lot of background noise. Toufiz,
Yes, I am hearing you.
yes, but there is a lot of background noise that I can hear from, I think, your side. Do you have a television on?
No, television. No. I have another problem. You know, I have another program. All my participants has to present. So.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Just do it. Yes.
Bring the volume of that thing down a little bit, and please go ahead with your poetry. I'm so honored that you've joined, and I should have actually called you before. Please go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I am very much grateful to you that having me to give the opportunity so that I am here. I am very much again and again my best respect and love to you, Pankhuri Sinha, that you are inviting me such a beautiful poetry program that I am here. I am Toufiz Zohur from Bangladesh. At present, I am living in Dhaka and I am the editor of a little magazine named Uddan. I am a poet, so I have very little time in my hand because my program, the International Poetry Festival, will begin soon. So I am reading a short poem. This poem, first of all, I will read in my native language, that is Bengali, then I will translate it in English. I am reading in Bengali. The title of the poem, Shesh Gantobbo. Patara jege othe kudroti isharai, nishshashe pran jage brikho jibon. Kar isharai pran ghori chole, nishsongo obhishar sheshe, ghuri fere gantobbe. Thank you. Now its translation. The title of the poem is The Final Destination. The leaves wake up with a miraculous gesture. Tree life awakens the breath, whose gesture moved the cloak. At the end of the lonely affairs, the kite returned to its destination. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Pankhuri Sinha, for inviting me again. I am glad and I feel honored. Best regards, best love to you and all the participants from the world who are here. It's one of the amazing poetry gathering show. Thank you very much. But I apologize to you because my program has no time, only 1 minute behind in my hand. So I am leaving. Thank you very much, everyone. Goodbye, good day. God bless you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you to you. The honor was ours, and I hope you will join again. And thank you for your beautiful poem. Thank you for the beautiful recitation in Bangla. We are really very honored. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
A good one. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now let us go to Tunisia and extend a very warm welcome to Sir Angelo Rizzi, who is joining us from Tunis, I think. For the first time, he's joining us. So warm welcome to you, sir. And we all are familiar with him. He's an Italian poet. He writes in Italian and also teaches Italian. So we are very honored to have you. He's a very gifted poet. He has published, I think, 26 books of poems. I think the 26th was published on the 7th of October when the Nobel was announced. So we are just so delighted to have you, honored. Please treat us to your poetry.
Thank you, Pankhuri, to invite me. Before in Italian and after English translation. Conto le ore inerti. È una notte indifferente alle parole, indifferente al sonno che mi attanaglia, al primo freddo autunnale, indifferente a tutti, poiché nessuno passa. È una notte senza voce, lascia spazio all'espressione, alla vocazione, ad un sospiro profondo. Conto le ore inerti, troppo lente, notte monotona, noiosa, come un abisso, però ne avverto il senso, mi insegna la pazienza. Notte inafferrabile, me ne sfugge il ritmo, notte senza tempo, dove si posano i pensieri nella clessidra della vita. Now, English translation. I count the inner hours. It is an uncaring night towards, indifferent to the gripping sleep that haunts me at the first autumn cold, indifferent to everyone because nobody passes. It is a voiceless night which leaves space to expression, to vocation, to a deep side. I count the inner hours passing too slowly, a monotonous, boring night, like an abyss, but I feel the sense, patience teaches me. Ungraspable night, the rhythm beyond me, timeless night, where souls are placed in the hourglass of life. Thank you.
Thank you for that very beautiful poem. What a portrayal of the poet's night. And it has that rhythm of that song, Silent Night, if you know what I mean, right? That hymn, I think, we all used to sing, but it has slight rhythm of it, just the rhythm. It's a very deep poem. Thank you so very much for joining us. It was a pleasure to hear you. And now thank you, sir. And now if Prasanna ji is ready, then we will ask him to treat us to his poem. Hi, Rebecca. So good to see you. I think Mildred is here as well. Am I saying your name right, Mildred? I think Prasanna ji can't hear me. Can you hear me, Prasanna ji? No. So Mildred, if you are here and you can hear me, do you want to go ahead with your poem?
Hello. Yes.
Hi.
Yes. Yes, because my name is pronounced as Mildred.
Great. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear
Mildred.
me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you. First of all,
Mildred,
There's
hold on for a moment. You have two, you're
I'm
connected.
sorry because I'm using a laptop and a mobile. I'm sorry because I'm using a laptop and a mobile. And there's a delay. Anyway.
Turn the speaker off. Turn the speaker off.
Anyway, so I'll proceed with my poem.
If you turn the speaker off, then
The title is A Poet Society. The title is A Poet Society. Okay. Okay, there. So may I proceed with my poem? There. So may I proceed with my poem? There is a delay. So sorry. Okay, there. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
I
good.
have
It's
to
good.
turn off the laptop for a while.
Good,
Can
good,
you hear
good.
me now?
You got it. You got it. Go ahead.
Hello? Am I audible now?
Now you can't hear. She cannot hear because she turned it off.
Am I audible?
You're audible.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Family is not only of sanguine affinity, it involves a whole lot of love, unity. Ink spill of images were based by harmony. Inspiration keys us drawn to dear poetry. An amalgamation of word made alive, to sparkle and shine on pages ever thrive. Keep it excellent, vibrant, and so bright. Interesting themes, ever building dreams. reaching the heights of our imagination, be it a high-flying illusion or just plain reality, striking our hearts' enthusiasm and passion, gratifying on the thoughts, more on emotions. Oh, how I love to be in this poetic society. My heart is feverish, wanting to be free. On pages, let it flow. My dreams evergreen. How I love to be in this garden of dreams. Lovely flowers blooming, fruition growing. Minds are germinating, feelings are flowing. Let me spill my ink in this ocean of white sheet. Allow me to dwell in this society of the quills. Let our muse fantasy be sublime in this wonderful biting of our poetic pen. Dear brethren, arise. Let us shape the future. Together, our pen society, this noble venture. There you go, my poetry. I just got rattled because I turned off the laptop and the mobile and it got so problematic for me. Anyway, thank you very much. I hope you understood my poem. Thank you. Thank you for the time.
We did hear it completely clear.
Are you able to listen?
Yes. Yes.
Because
we enjoyed your poetry. Thank you for that beautiful piece on the Poetic Society. We all feel that same way. So thank you so very much. And I'm so glad that the echoes disappeared and your voice came in all clear. Thank you so very much, Mildred. And now I think I am going to ask Rebecca.
If I may be allowed, I would like to take this opportunity to thank James Tian. Is he there? I'd like to take this opportunity to thank him so much. Brother, thank you very much, Mr. James Tian. Are you there?
Most welcome. Most welcome. Yeah.
Yes, I was included in your book and I highly appreciate. I'm so grateful.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Actually, a collective thanks to James Tian. From all of us, he does some wonderful work and I too have been honored. So thank you so very much. Now over to Rebecca Lowe joining us from the UK. She's a gifted poet. The reason I went is because I was just going to say she's extra busy because she's been also doing, live shows as in offline. And I'm so glad to see her because she was also infected with corona, but she looks amazing as always. So here she is, again, a very gifted poet joining us from the UK. Warm welcome to you, Rebecca.
Hello. Hi, it's great to be back. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me? Yes, excellent. I'm going to read one of my Christmas poems because it's that time of year from my book Blood and Water. It's a poem called Annunciation, and it's about the Annunciation of the angel to Mary in the Christmas story. Annunciation. Perfect, almost, but not quite, the pristine lawn with my prints upon it, deep, deliberate. I am a bud newly picked, unopened, and yet the corruption has already begun the descent to inevitable decay and death. Unsullied, unperturbed, and yet within I can already feel the flutter of filament wings thrusting petals from dark roots, the tick, tick, tick of tiny heart and fingers that unfurl through villous veins, pulsing capillaries. The shout of shoot to bare translucent bone in virgin soil, the everyday miracle of conception, though I shrink from the world, immaculate. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Rebecca. Some
Well, thank
beautiful-
you, and happy Christmas to everybody. If I don't speak to you before.
Merry Christmas to everybody. Merry Christmas to you. Thank you so very much. And here we are back with another beautiful set of poets. So now I'm going to go over to America and ask Richard, who's joining us from, I think, Tennessee, right? The home of country music. So Richard, who's again a very gifted poet, a story writer as well. And Richard and I have the same publisher. We've published with Ex Libris, who's an amazing publisher. Someday we need to talk about Ex Libris, and maybe another program can be, imagined together around Ex Libris. But as of now, we are waiting to hear your poem, dear poet.
I am greatly honored to join this fine assemblage. So many faces that I know and love and care for deeply. So many wonderful voices. Happy season of light to you all. And in celebration of this great festive time for everyone around the globe, I wanted to bring a touch of uplift, of lightness, of air, of light. So I offer you this. It's called Bubble Up. From a deep and silent place, I bubble up. Rising from the royal blue to the goddess above, I bubble up. 1,000 artesian wells pouring forth from the silent earth, I bubble up. Reaching through the layers of sea, layers of warmth, layers of silent cool, I bubble up. Listening to the beloved coil from the goddess in love, I bubble up. Rising from the valley to the peak, from the root to the tree, I bubble up. Rising from the depths to the surface, rising from the earth to the air, I bubble up. Rising on a million bubbles of hope, bubbles of words of light, I bubble up. Rising from your toes to your feet, rising with swirling light, rising from your legs to your spine, I bubble up. Filling your arms, filling your neck, each hair extended, I bubble up. Rising through your spine in Kundalini time, I bubble up. Filling you from toe to fingertip with a billion bubbles of light, I bubble up. Your entire form charmed in light, your entire being of delight in starfire, I bubble up. Our light emerging, our soul surging, Doppler shifts to blue, we bubble up. Showers of blue sapphire, iridescent puddles, seething galaxies of ecstasy, we bubble up.
Beautiful. What an uplifting poem, full of this bubbly feeling and,
Thank you so much. Happy season's greetings to you all. My love to all of you delightful poets. Unfortunately, I must run. I have another project today. Have a wonderful day. We bubble up.
Indeed. Thank you so very much, and Merry Christmas to you. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for that bubbly, bubbly poem. And now we are going to go over to Germany. No, Italy. But I am partially right, because Antje is originally from Germany. She lives in Italy, and I have had the honor of being translated in German by her. So another gifted poet, but even more than poetry, she's a wonderful painter, right? Even more than poetry, she has a gift for painting that, few of us have actually had a chance to look at. I hope someday we'll all go to her exhibition. Warm welcome to you, Antje. I hope you're doing good.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's wonderful to be here, and I feel already this bubbling Christmas coming. So wonderful. I want to read you a poem about my village in the mountains where I spend most of my time. Breakfast in the village. Head to head, they slurp the liquid egg jolt from the shell, conversing about significant events. Newcomers to the village, They buy the houses of the deceased, eviscerate the rooms, straighten the walls, erase the traces of the past. In the morning dew, a velvet mole on the grass, his shovel hands stretched far from his body, while golden green flies bore their way into the folds of his tights. On the other side of the lake, the mountain becomes a polyphonic, tooth-shaped symphony in 7 shades of gray, and there, high above the jagged line in deep blue ink, the morning star. In these times, guests leave without gravity, with no goodbyes at the foot of the day. Through the cypress groove in the black water, you see the flickering lights of their cemeteries as fireflies light up in the damp grass. Thank you very much. I wish everybody a wonderful Christmas or whatever you are celebrating, and especially a New Year's Eve and a good New Year. Thank you.
Thank you to you, dear Antje. And like I had said, see what a beautiful painting emerges in such rhythmical fashion of arrangement of words. So beautifully done. Thank you so much. What a beautiful, the first line when I read it in the morning, the village breakfast and the egg yolk breaking out, and then, oh my goodness, the mountains, we have to go there. So we are going to trouble you someday, Antje, collectively. Be ready for that, and thank you for this very...
Yes, we will have poetry reading in my village. We have wonderful people organizing lots of activities. So whenever you want, you come over and we amaze the villagers.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And someday we are going to invite you to India as well and take you to some Indian mountains and Indian villages and treat you to some Indian breakfast. And that'll be fun as well. So thank you so very much. And now I'm going to go over to Poland and ask Ma'am Alexa to unmute herself and treat us to some beautiful poetry. She's a very gifted poetess, has just been touring all over Europe and to places like Romania and so many other places. I'm forgetting the names of all the countries, but I have been tracking her travel and I have been congratulating her on her many, many medals. A very gifted poetess, and yesterday she had a beautiful surprise to give me, which I will share with everybody on Facebook. But I think that she has disappeared from the Zoom meeting. Are you here, Alexa, ma'am? I think you're not. Okay, that is not so nice. I wish that she was here. That would have been amazing. But I think that either it is her signal or the network, or I don't know what it is. I will message her. But in the meantime, why don't I come back to India and ask Prasanna ji? He is now visible and is looking like he really has me. So Prasanna ji, very familiar with you.
Sorry, ma'am, for the technical go-hop, and sorry, I mean, thank you, I mean, profusely for inviting me to this wonderful family back again. And I would individually greet everyone, if you permit me, Angelo, Stehn, Eden, ma'am, Isaac, Lucilla, David, Dominic, Richard, and Xanthi, Mick, Dominic, Poonam, ma'am, James, Angelo, Christopher, Ratan, Becky,
Hey.
and
Hi,
Angelo,
Kkumar.
Christopher, Ratan, Mildred, Ratan, Ghosh, and Dawn, and and not least Pankhuri Sinha ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity,
Welcome.
and hopefully I could hopefully I could get across the point which gonna read. I'm still waiting. This is the title of my poem. Lowe arrived at another Christmas with songs of Yuletide, bringing hope and cheers, albeit looming darkness of pandemic in its mute and still unright, roaring tales of dominance and power being crushed or the innocents under tyrannical commanders. Unsolicited calls of rampage, brutal snatching of souls as their breath is at stake, with eventual massacre from outraging the modesty, SMC, senseless authorities, mindless mentalities, cruel intentions ruling the roost. Seasons passing, yet the showers of bliss still to touch the horse. Winters are raging to the burning in the heat of wildfires. Walking through the forest is the mankind gouging every bit of land. Rivers dried out to become a deluge in the flow of streaming unpredictable weather conditions. Yes, festivals and years passing through the times, I am still waiting for the tunes of harmony under the stars of blue moon. Thank you for the opportunity, madam.
Thank you for your beautiful poem. Beautiful Christmas, as well as your great big environmental things to be shared by every Indian and actually every human being on this. So thank you for that, and pictures here images as well. So thank you so very much, Prasanna ji. Now we're going to go over to Europe, and Dr. Ratan Ghosh, please do not go away. I'm coming to you in a minute. So you've already turned off your video. Please turn it back on again, and you are going to go next after Dominic. Dominic Williams is joining us from Wales, UK. Warm welcome to him. We all are familiar with Dominic. He's the curator of so many festivals. Besides being a very gifted, talented poet, he has also come out with a book which is partially prose, critical writings, as well as many other things. Warm welcome to you, my dear brother. I call him a brother because he has taught me so many things. And you don't need a reason, right? I mean, it's the way you feel it. So warm welcome to you, dear sir, dear poet, and please treat us to your poem.
Well, thank you very much, my dear little sister, Pankhuri. It's a pleasure, and I'm so grateful to be at our midwinter party. And just like any party, I think at some point, somebody gets everybody up on the dance floor, and I'm so pleased that Richard got us all up on the dance floor with his bubbling up poem. It's absolutely fantastic. As this is our festive season, I think it perhaps is time for some old favorites. So I'm going to do an old favorite of mine. Please excuse me, those of you who may have heard it before, but from a wet, windy, cold Wales, this makes me think of being in a nice little Irish bar. It's a poem about a pub called Mary's Bar. The woman waits. She is 8,000 years born and has flowed through Laurentide flows. A sage and a seer, nursed 1,000 siblings of a species long since displaced. A sacrificial spouse cracked open a womb that spewed east. But migration matters no more. The stars but moments, foretelling the arrival of a significant one, for the land to welcome home her sun-kissed litter. The vessel now at shrunken rest, matriarchal in urban anonymity, within a gift, a symbol veiling an epistle marks this rebirth, an installation water sealed and hard knuckle woven, toughed branches of rebellion bent and interlaced to bear safe the power of a positive force, a creative thought, consummated at this predetermined time, in this predetermined place. The Berber flees unsettled and unsure, carrying his name in his heart, an isthmus looking for land, sailing, mechanically propelled, pursued by lens and light to a darkened alley, destined to document his significance. From the south, brushing shores, superficial trade, man laid naked, an unknown return, epiphany. And she who has waited, she dances like a child.
Oh, was I muted? Oh, so what I was saying is what a beautiful presentation, what an intense poem, you know, including the way you've talked about how a creative thought is conceived, you know, along with so many other things. And thank you for bringing in, I think there are mythological elements as well. Thank you so very much, my dear poet, for that wonderful poem. And Mary's Bar, wow. I hope that someday we get to go there as well. See, I'm getting greedy here, talking about all these travels and this bar and that village. Wow. So what amazing poems, right? Thank you so very much. And now I'm going to come back to India, over to Ratan Ghosh, who, my dear friends, is in a very, very beautiful place in India. Actually, his native place, Siliguri, right? Siliguri, as the Bengalis pronounce it, excuse me, is an amazing hill station, is an amazing place actually, next to Darjeeling, right? The transit point for so many hill stations, and it's just wonderful. So, you know, I have already been troubling him with ideas, and someday maybe we will do something. So he's going to treat us to another beautiful poem of his. He's a very gifted poet. We all know him. He's an editor. He has edited very many editions in which we all are present, thin and thick volumes. And he has also won an award in Italy, right? Along with me. So I'm going to cheer myself as well. Along with that, Dr. Ghosh again. So cheers for you and cheers for Isaac, who won the first award there. So after Ratan Ghoshji, we are going to go to Israel. But over to you, sir. And now please treat us to your poem. You've disappeared after doing million angles with your camera. Your camera has just disappeared, your video. So please turn it back on.
Is this okay?
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
I'm audible, no?
Yeah,
Hello?
but that's so strange. Wait a second. Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes, but you know, I have to say this. That's so strange because for a minute, your mic is muted. There was a red
Sometimes I'm switching off to from PC to mobile phone. That's not the problem. Okay. Thank you for inviting me in this beautiful program.
Dr. Ghosh, you're connected twice. You have to turn the speaker off on one of your connections.
Is this okay now?
Better.
Hello?
Better. Much better.
Yeah.
Much better.
Okay. Thank you, Pankhuri Sinha ji, and thanks to the esteemed poets, because after a long time, we are in such beautiful program. So in this program, you'd request Pankhuri Sinha ji, and it would be my pleasure if I am allowed to read 2 poems, because this month, especially this December month, is a month of sadness to us, because we have lost a few soldiers, we can say, a few good hearts from our country due to air crash. So in such situations, I was very much, I was deeply fed because of this. And on this great hero, okay, I'll read out a poem. And before reading this poem, I'm going to read a poem on peace. It's a poem on history of the subcontinent, specifically Bangladesh, on human genocide. Genocide, you know, I'm going to publish a book on genocide too. And on genocide, it's my, you can say, I have a different type of attraction for this history, because this history is somehow historians have not recorded. It was supposed to be, but somehow, I don't know why it was not recorded. The greatest tragedy of human life, when Bangladesh was created, and before the creation of Bangladesh, and before our independence. So I am going to read out a poem entitled Peace. Peace. We know we are all running after peace, but it's a mystery, and it's a mystery whether we are going to achieve this or not in such situations. All over the world, we are suffering from, you know, different types of problems, namely terrorism. So let's see. Let's see. I try to give something in the very word peace. Peace is peaced. Peace is peaced when I see it in the land of lunatics. Peace is peaced when I see it in the land of lunatics. Beyond my country border and eastern bridge. Beyond my country border and eastern bridge. Never do I wonder while reading the history of 1946. 1946 has a touch of history of human genocide. That saw the rivers of bloodshed, massacres, and inhuman deeds. That saw the rivers of bloodshed, massacres, and inhuman deeds. In the bed of the East. In the bed of the East. The 7 decades passed. The 7 decades passed in the bowl of fire and lust. In the bowl of fire and lust. Yet I see none, yet I see none waving the messages of truth, justice, faith, and trust. In the land of anxiety, anger, and angst. Many though disappeared in the dark, only to save the Noah's Ark. Many though disappeared in the dark, only to save the Noah's Ark from the land of hungry sharks that pierce the breasts and clitoris, that pierce the breasts and clitoris in the hearts, fields, and parks. The stains of breasts and clitoris alike, the stains of breasts and clitoris alike, still mourning in the street of strife, still mourning in the streets of strife. Though many tried to forget the brutal fights, though many tried to forget the brutal fights, but failed when Kumilla and Noakhali, these are the names of the place of East Bengal, but failed when Kumilla and Noakhali re-arise. In the land of lunatics, fundamentals, and lies. In the land of lunatics, fundamentals, and lies. This is the poem on actually East Bengal. Recently, you know, a human genocide. Actually, it's a common history of East Bengal. And before partition, we also saw it. And normally what happens in such cases, women are violated. Namely, women are targeted. Women, our daughters, mothers, and sisters are targeted, raped, and killed. This is the actually fact of such genocide. My next poem, if you don't mind, I'm going to read out a poem on General Bipin Rawat and his companions actually killed in air crash recently. One of the pillars state from this nation's hate that Zohur stood like fierce blade, infrequent frowning of numberless enemies. Infrequent frowning of numberless enemies, he stood in the borders like big banyan trees to drown all the enemy jaws in the nation's tidal seas. The Western Pak religious lunatics, please don't mind, I have to mention the name of a particular country. The Western Pak religious lunatics drowned in the dust into several pieces since thy burning eyes glared with air strikes. The glaciers of the north never dared to stand forth since you touched the hull of the stormy boat. The poisonous waves of the southwestern east ever feared thy iron determination and taste, since you held the nation's war at bay. Since you held the nation's war at bay, the mortal earth may squeeze thee by the seas. The mortal earth may squeeze thee by the sea, but thy fearless spirit will forever vanquish the enemies of Sanatana, truth, justice, and peace. Arise, awake, ablaze again and again, thy fearless eyes, like the northern mountains and merciful eyes, to save the nations that cries. O brave soul, can we ever forget thy role that weaved the nations for its goal? So long we'll survive on this beautiful earth, none can forget this noble Rawat. So long we'll survive on this beautiful earth, none can forget this noble Rawat. Thank you. This is a month of, actually, this month is a month of sadness for us. We have lost many beautiful souls. Thank you. Thank you, Pankhuri ji. Thank you, all the esteemed poets. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ratan Ghosh ji. It was a pleasure having you here. And that was the poet taking care of a lot of problems on this earth, on this planet. And denial is not the way. So here is an example of the poet really taking up cudgels against so many problems. Very strong poems. First of all, thank you for your tribute to General Bipin Rawat. And indeed, that is a great loss. The entire nation was shocked. I think everybody knows that there was a horrible tragedy where our army chief just died, and very, very sad. So my tributes to him as well. We did this yesterday as well in so many programs. And again, addressing the question of genocide and the use of rape as a weapon of war is a very big problem. We've seen it in the case of Yugoslavia as well. So, it's a huge problem, and I hope that we will be able to solve it. Thank you so very much, Ratan Ghosh ji. That was really very thought-provoking. Thank you so very much. And now I'm going to go back to the UK and ask my good friend, a very gifted poet again, a critic, a reviewer, and so much more, a great friend, Dominic Windram, to please unmute and treat us to his beautiful poems. He has penned so many beautiful poems. They're all on this or that website. Not all, I'm sorry, not all, a few, some in amazing places, and some are still being written. But my point is, he's a very gifted poet who's also written about Amnesty International and some very many other very sensitive topics. So warm welcome to you again, and I hope that you're going to read us again a surprisingly beautiful poem. Thank you.
Thank you, Pankhuri. Recently, I composed an Advent-themed Shakespearean sonnet, and it's simply entitled In December. In December, as the snow falls to ground, with a supernatural slowness, I dwell in dreamtime where subtle sights and sounds abound. I can sense the wind's solemn sighs, yet tonight's moonlight gleams with golden hopes and promises for one and all, it seems. I still yearn for things beyond mortal scope, and sometimes the eternal design seeds plant themselves in my heart and mind. Advent is a wondrous time when a blithe spirit of true enchantment, that is heaven sent, comes down to earth. On its brief visit, it lightens our burdens and eases our woes. Sometimes it can be glimpsed in the falling snow. Thank you.
Wow. You know what? What a beautiful poem on all that the falling snow brings and does. Wow. What
Thank
a
you.
beautiful poem. I just loved it. Thank you so very much. In a supernatural way, how it falls and everything. I miss that. If there's one thing that I miss, not one thing, I miss so many things about North America. But if there is something that I really, really miss, and yes, White Christmas. Wow, thank you. Thank you so very much, Dominic. And now I'm going to go over to Canada, where I think it must be all white. I think it is in the background of our dear poet David Leo Sirois' picture. No, it isn't the snow, but something like it, right? So
This
it
is
must
the river that makes the border between Canada and the US here, the imaginary border.
Right. Another border poet like me. Yes, great. So it must be all snowy, even in Calgary, in beautiful Calgary, and in your beautiful, lovely town, Edmundston. So warm welcome to you. A very gifted poet. Actually, I should read his bio. Because he has formally, put these things together. So instead of doing a poetic introduction as in this and that, he's just out with another book and so on and so forth. Let me just read out his bio. He's a, excuse me, a Canadian-American poet. He has been published 116 times in 14 countries. Indeed, he is very serious about these magazines and has been published in Indian magazines in which so many Indian poets have not been. So congratulations for that as well. His work has been translated into 10 languages, Hindi by me, I'm so proud of it, Bengali, French, German, Czech, Spanish, Greek, Romanian, Chinese, and Doric. He hosts Spoken Word Online, the Zoom continuation of Spoken Word Paris. I hope someday, David, you will do this in Paris. His first book is called Humble Doves. Beautiful poems about, pigeon chasing, and so on and so forth. If I say in Urdu, maine nukta garbar kar diya. Koi baat nahi. He has won third prize in winning writers Wurgle Flump Humor Poetry Contest, and so on and so forth. Now, David, you have so many crowns on your head that I am actually just give you an applause for it. And please go ahead with it.
Thank you so much. This I prepared for the Panorama International Literature Festival in 2022. It's called Container. This container carries countless shards of shaken stars and witnesses wisdom of air, holding everything in place, making us move and sit and wait. This container moves with each appearance, disappearance, and cannot apologize for rough polarities causing friction in our heads. Container that creates, sustains, dissolves all that we don't need and what we need as well, at times with water, times with flame. This container can be emptiness, painting an entire universe on the canvas of her own skin. A row of sidewalk trees, green, haunts the street. People stacked one upon another, brick over brick, talking constantly online, on phones, in kitchens, repeating the same stale word clusters, always crows flying out of their mouths. Why am I alone among darkening clouds? This container has an undercurrent that can pull me by the ankle if I am not careful. Container which wails its sirens, carrying crime addicts and the dying. Alive and on the 7th floor, the crown of my head invisibly in flames, it is said this planet is a magnet. This container contains so much I cannot mention. My lips would be bleeding. It liquefies souls who hold themselves rigid, brittle, inflexible as a dead plant. It plants its seed in the womb of the real, growing actors for its play. Container that carries markets with faces in flux, wide-mouthed bags devouring oranges and artichokes while the sky is perpetually made fresh. Container whose persistent air is the most intimate touch I will ever receive. This container marks a mirror holding nothing but itself. Container that can bring ebullience to the lips of every participant. Container that gives darkness a face, observing from everywhere. This container exhibits genius in the mise en scène of every element in its wide-scale production. Container happy as a young deity, perfectly silent and holding the whole cacophony in her belly. Tiny drop of milk, my name, and losing all its form, I stand inside your kind presence, repeating every letter of your name, your name, your name.
Wow. Amazingly powerful poem and a mesmerizing rendering of it. Thank you so very much. So many
Thank you.
deep layers and meanings of this container. I have questions too. I shouldn't be saying this, but I have questions too, and I will come back to you later.
Thank you.
Many images there. Thank you so very much, David Leo Serwa. The container has also transported me, right? Do you know what I mean? Like they can also transport you. Wow. My goodness. Very beautiful. Thank you so much, David. And now, you know what? I have made a blunder. And if I get liberal, I should say as usual. Bad joke. But my dear Isaac, I said that after this person, I'm going to go over to Israel, I think after Alexa. And then I just came back to India or did something like that and go over to Isaac. But I'm going to go to you. And before that, I want to say hi to my very dear sister. She's like an elder sister to me, Poonam Di. It's getting late here in India as well. It's going to be 9:30 and everybody is, you know, it's festival season already everywhere. But it's okay. It's okay. We are just chilling out with poetry, right? So I'm going to come over to you after Isaac. Allow me to ask Isaac to read his poetry. Again, a very gifted poet, and he is making names again in several Facebook groups too, after winning a first prize in Italy. So warm welcome to you, dear Isaac. And are you also going to read in Hebrew? Please unmute yourself, Isaac, and read.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Pankhuri, and thank you all my friends, Tanji, and Dominic, Richard, Kkumar Paransa, and all my friends all over the world. Today I read, I start in Hebrew and after in English. יצחק כהן, הסוד של האהבה. איך אתה יכול לצאת מתוך גופך אל האינסוף? איך הנפש של מישהו נוגעת בך? אתה מנסה לפסל יצירה חדשה. הפרפר מרפרף כאשר אתה מסיים את הנמפה הקלאסית. איך רק המלאכים של כיסא הכבוד יכולים להבין את המחשבה. Thank you, and now in English. Yeah, thank you. Isaac Cohen, The Secret of Love. How can you go from your body to the infinity? How the soul of someone touch you? To try to sculpt new creation. The butterfly flutter when you finish the classic nymph. How? Only the angels of the throne can understand the mind. Thank you, Adekon Israel, and thank you, Pankhuri, and thank you, all my friends in the world, and happy, enjoy, and goodbye.
Not goodbye, you're welcome to stay.
Okay, yes.
Yes. So be with us.
After.
Okay? For your very beautiful poem, Isaac. I loved it indeed. Indeed, when somebody very dear leaves, this is exactly how it feels, and you've captured it very, very beautifully. Thank you. And raised some other big questions. Thank you so very much, Isaac. And before I call upon Poonam, another gifted poetess from India, she's going to join us from Faizabad. I want to extend very warm welcome to Sir Tom Phillips, who has finally managed to join us from Sofia, Bulgaria, because he earlier messaged that his internet was down, and I was like, oh no, I was waiting to hear his, said he was writing a new one for Christmas. So we all are very eager to hear it from you, sir. Warm welcome to you, and I will come to you in just 2 minutes. I mean, metaphorically 2 minutes. So till then, you are requested to enjoy these two poems, first by Poonam, and then we are going to go over to Greece and invite Xanthi. Over to you, Poonam. Everybody knows Poonam. She's a gifted poetess of bilingual nature. She writes both in Hindi and English, the languages that I write in as well, and has published a couple books. Coming out with another couple. So warm welcome to you, and treat us to your poem, Poonam.
Hi, everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Yeah. So big hello to Don, Pankhuri, and I hope this time we don't forget Don. We want to hear from him as well.
Yes. Oh, please don't remind me. Don't remind me of the blunders that I have done.
Okay.
How can I? But yes, that's it's he's out. Yes, thank you to him again.
So while talking about Christmas, I think this year Ayodhya made ripples. It's it stood out on the world map. And I don't want to forget that I am living in twin cities, you know. Ayodhya and Faizabad, they both are just 5 kilometers apart. And now finally, the temple town, we are given a name Ayodhya. To Faizabad, they've given the name Ayodhya. So the Faizabad has its own beauty. So my poem tonight is the city of, the joy of living in two cities. The joy of living in twin cities. Ayodhya, the birthplace of Lord Rama, shared the cultural heritage status with the twin city of Faizabad, the first capital of Awadh Nawabs. Though now officially treated as one, both the cities enjoy the grandeur of royal background, one lined by temples and shrines, the other houses mosques and tombs. Both the Indian cities dwell on the banks of river Saryu, holding historical significance for various religions. But Guptar Ghat unites as a common denominator, a landscape of attraction for all the communities. Guptar Ghat on the bank of river Saryu is where Lord Rama took his last dip to go back to the eternal abode. Apart from this connection, people gather here at sunrise and sunset to witness the illusory landscape, where the sky incorporates the plethora of colors, the boat oars orchestrate the waves, as the bow on a violin. We stand on the majestic podium of steps and terraces, humming the songs of silence, with tea in handless clay cups, warming our palms. Mesmerized, mesmerized, we look at the vast sea meet the sky. Mesmerized, we look at this vast sea meet the sky, tuning the autofocus of our personal horizons. Tuning the autofocus of our personal horizons. That's all.
Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful poem with so much of history, so much of mythology, and indeed, what a beautiful depiction of that point of Saryu, that exact spot, you know, where Ram actually took his final dip. Thank you. And it's a very beautiful picturization of the twin cities with so much more. But to you know, add something on a lighter note, have you left out the monkeys? The monkeys that have actually you?
No, I dare not remember them.
I must remember. Put her in a cage and roaming around free. Yes. Great. Thank you for that very beautiful poem. And now we are going to go over to Greece and invite Xanthi. And before I actually welcome you, Xanthi, I just want to say hello to Kate. Kate has joined us, I think, from the United States. Hi, Kate. Yeah, I hope you're going to read us today. Merry Christmas to you and season's greetings. Are you planning to read? Okay,
Greetings, my friend. I didn't prepare anything, but I can go get something for the very end. I was not on a list.
Okay, great. Yes, do get a poem. That'll be wonderful. Thank you. Thanks, Kate. So nice to have you here. And now we are going to go over to Xanthi in Greece and request her to please treat us to her beautiful poem. She's a gifted poetess, won an award and in so many other places. So go ahead.
Okay, so before
I start reading my poem, I wanted to show you the snow, as many people are missing it. I can see it from my balcony. So this is the view of my balcony.
You are inviting trouble, Xanthi, because someday then I will message you saying, please do a video call and show me the snowfall, you know.
Yes, it's coming. The snow is coming. And since I love it very much, I have written a poem about the snow. I started it last year. And since it's a very short poem, I'm going to read in Greek and in English. And after I read, I have one Christmas surprise for everyone. So, ιστορίες του χιονιού. Γράφει το χιόνι, ακόμη και στον πιο έρημο δρόμο, όμορφα τις ιστορίες του. Σβήνει τα σημάδια, ώστε το κάθε τι να λάμπει κάτω από το φως των αστεριών. Stories of the snow. The snow rides even in the loneliest streets. Beautiful stories. Erases the speckles so everything can shine under the starlight. Very short poem, as I promised. So, and a very short announcement. I've spoken yesterday to the mayor of Nausa. I had a very short private meeting with him. And he's very interested to conduct our international poetry event, international poetry festival this summer in Nausa. So you're inviting you officially all here. Happy Christmas.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very much for the twin beauties, this beautiful piece of news and your beautiful poem, short and sweet, beautiful poem.
Thank
wow.
you.
Snow, I can imagine the beauty, right? Thank you so much, Xanthi. And I know that you have lots of things to catch up with. So thank you for waiting and thank you for your beautiful time.
Thank you.
We enjoyed it.
Beautiful reading. We're bubbling up. We're jumping into bars with Mary and into blissful moments. Thank you for having us. Thank you for doing this. And Dawn, thank you for hosting all that over the internet for everyone to enjoy and bringing us bliss and light. And it was so nice to be with all of you here, with Eden and Antje and Dawn and Richard and I don't remember, and Tian, James Tian. And I have to go to another event of the Greek diplomacy. Wishing you all a nice Christmas. Bye.
Thank you so much. A very Merry Christmas to you as well. And I was just going to say that this is a poetess who's also just won an award in China. So thank you so very much. Again, Xanthi, thank you for all the good wishes to everybody. And now we are going to go over to Sofia, Bulgaria, to Tom Phillips, sir, and ask him to unmute and treat us to his beautiful poem as always. He is a professor of creative writing and an author of so many beautiful collections. I, as a translator, have the honor of reading very many of them closely now, unedited cinema and so on and so forth. Some very thought-provoking titles, very beautiful poems on so many things. Warm welcome to you, sir. What happened? Did the internet again cause a problem?
It looks like there's his microphone is cutting in and out.
Yeah, but can you hear me? Sir? Sir Tom Phillips, can you hear me? Please go ahead.
Okay, I hope you can, I'm not sure whether you can hear me or not. My internet is cutting in and out a lot.
possibly a bit like Xanthi because it is actually snowing in Sofia at the moment. I'll read this poem, which is called Friday Morning December. Here, with my old man's teeth, between grey pavings, grey skies, I ventriloquize, my own voice having shriveled to a whisper or words losing face. Each reaches a point, GPS data held on a phone, lines to toe forming buildings flat of squares. Front doors border on delible spaces. Who exists beyond them has their work cut out. Over against the ice, a man in an orange coat walks an orange dog. It's first thing, and the dog skitters at leash end, his owner not yet sharpened from a blur of mist. It will rain all day. Cats skulk under tiles. Are they watching one last icicle droop from a lamppost, or tuning into aircon that stutters when thumped by a man leaning out in his winter pajamas? There is no list, just these verticals with rat runs left after pollarding, suggested obligations while a taxi slaloms through potholes in a one-way street. Why ask every day to begin with mythology? Those aren't sprites in the lights cone, or even could be. They spatter on tarmac. Coins and banknotes demand our attention. Even trash glistens in the bin in the rain, though what we exchange stays flat and dull, suspicious with handprints. A whole aurora throbs like a baseline, and there's whatever's left of mountains, forests, islands, and plains. The maps unfold. They start here. Thank you very much. And Merry Christmas and season's greetings to everyone from the snow.
Thank you to you. Wow, that was an amazing poem. What a beautiful picture. We have lots of those picturesque poems today. Very beautiful poem and very thought-provoking as well. Thank you so very much. The maps unfold. Wow. So amazing. Thank you. Thank you, sir. And now we are going to go over again to Wales, right? Richard, you're in Wales. And apologies for making you wait for so long, but I thought that we are going to listen to you in the end and with somewhat more peace. And you can take a few minutes more if you want. So here, my dear friends, is a poet joining us from Wales, a very gifted poet, and he's just started publishing in some very nice big anthologies, award-winning anthologies. Warm welcome to you again, and eagerly waiting.
Thank you very much, Pankhuri. Right, okay, well, when I said that I was going to write a poem about sort of festive period, everyone seemed to think I was going to come up with something really cynical. So I've written a proper Christmas poem for you. This is Santa Saves the Planet. A family gathered from far and wide break bread together at Christmas tide. Glistening lights in 1,000 trees, join hands and sing praise in the frozen breeze. It's a magical time when wishes come true, a time of goodwill as the seasons renew, when a child full of hope and an honourable cause took time to write letters to Santa Claus. And this child had been good all year long, so you see, Santa took their request very seriously. And inclined to agree with this unselfish child, he stripped off the suit he had always reviled. Coca-Cola be damned, for the time had arrived. If you live at the pole, it just can't be denied. For in fact, just that morning, his patio thawed and fell into the sea. He was truly appalled. It's just simply too much, as the letters explained. The sea's full of plastic, the forest's in flames. So a meeting was called, with one vote for each elf, to strategize redistribution of wealth. And a plan was conceived, and the elves all consented for a Christmas Eve schedule that's unprecedented. They'd need to rebrand. It was dangerous, but damn it, this is the year Santa's saving the planet. So the world wakes as normal on Christmas morning, and the children excited, the adults are yawning, and regardless of whether they're naughty or good or Christian or wealthy, in all neighbourhoods, children find the same thing at the foot of their bed. Not piles of wrapped toys, just one stocking instead, with an orange, a walnut, a small pomegranate, and a recycled pamphlet called Santa Saves Planet. Now, for most of the world, it's a lovely surprise for kids to get presents regardless of size. Assuming shared culture is crazy, it's clear. For some, it's the only fruit they'll get this year. But in some of the richest industrial nations, the kids don't appreciate Santa's salvation. With terrible tantrums at crushed expectations, new iPhone released with slight modifications, but the parents are fighting. The adults got nothing. They're out in the street, drinking, screaming and cussing. Tensions are rising as bricks started flying. They're looting the shops now, the children are crying, the city's aflame and the cops aren't responding. The chief of police is on hold and still waiting as Amazon trace why his presents went missing. It's out of control, a revolt of the richest. Boris Johnson's gone missing. They're checking the fridges. Biden blames terrorists, Russians and socialists. The global emergency, uncontrolled anarchy. And here come the militants raising a cheer, singing, "We'll keep the red nose flying here." Governments crumble as world leaders panic because cheeky old Santa is saving the planet. Thanks, guys. Happy holidays and festivities to anyone that celebrates, and to anyone using the Gregorian calendar. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. What a happy, happy poem. What a pleasing, pleasing poem with such beautiful rhythm. Oh my goodness. And the presentation was just as beautiful as the poem was. Thank you. You actually brought that Santa Claus feeling, actually you got him in the room. Thank you so very much. I think to an extent, so many of us are that little child writing to Santa, right? Thank you. Thank you so very much. Merry Christmas to you again, Richard, and to everybody. And now we are going to go over to the United States of America again and ask my dear old friend, John, to treat us to his poem. And then we are going to ask Kate. And then we have a friend, a stranger, Christopher. Sorry about calling you a stranger, but that's just in the getaway, right? Dear stranger. So hello. And if you wish to read, you're welcome to do so.
Please, thank you.
Thank you. Over to you, Don. Don is a very gifted poet, as we all know. And dear friends, here's the secret. He's coming out with a new book, which also has that poem on the Nobel Prize, right? That amazing poem that he read one time, you must remember, on how the Nobel Prize was announced in somebody else's name and was given to somebody else, that amazing poem. And the name of the collection is, I'm forgetting the name of the collection. Dawn is going to kill me because I've also had the honor of writing a small little blurb for it. So I think that someday we are going to do a big display soon, right, Don?
Okay. Yeah, the name of the collection is When Danger Is Past. It's coming from Milk and Cake Press, a small press in the States. I don't write happy poems, so I'm just going to read this one, which is actually has something of Christianity in it. It has an epigraph. 2020, deadliest year for gun violence in America, 43,500. From the American Journal of Managed Care. Reap the whirlwind. Billboards then. Segregation now, segregation forever. Visualize world peace. These days with the COVID, we keep the windows shut, hold our water, drive like the hunted, like the dispossessed. True Christians obey Christ. Women who serve gain paradise. At the rest stop, every other face exposed, guns at the ready. The others with face masks, like targets. That's Reap the Whirlwind.
Wonderful, powerful poem. A picture of today in a very, very candid way, right? And with so much more. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ton, for that very brutal picturization, not brutal, but a very candid, a very honest, a very frank picturization of some very brutal truths. And yes, it's the Christmas season, but we have to be careful. So the mask is totally called in and called for. And yes, we cannot forget either those who have recently also died in gun violence in the United States, but we have to always keep up our fight for peace, and which means opposing the big gun lobby. So thank you for that. Thank you so very much. And now it is over to you, Kate. Kate is somebody wonderful that I have just met on Facebook, and it's such a pleasure to have her. And I think I've heard her in David's show as well. So a gifted poetess. Warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, my friend Pankhuri Sinha. This is a wonderful blessing to have come into the very cold room of my house, because as the solstice is upon us, the sunsets beckon me from my deep sleep in my warm room and bring me out to my deck, and I take pictures of the incredible sun gleaming, and my dreaming continues, because my dream is that the good men of this world, in their strength, bigger size than the women, much bigger than the children, that the men come forth to be our protectors. And what our earth says is, please, sons, grow big and strong in 6 foot plus, or be short at 5 foot. You have the strength to be there. And when you question yourself, you will put the question to us. Do not question yourselves. You are all that you are meant to be in goodness. Do not question your strength. Give it to this earth to protect it, to run the soil of the earth and not the spoils of the earth. My greatest respect to the men. Thank you. I have a short poem. My poem, thank you, Pankhuri, to invite me. This epigraph is to my friend. We've met so many around the world. Tanya Cohen. She wrote a book called The War Within. This is a brief American sonnet. Cool breeze of the evening greets the sunset brilliance. History tempers the soul, for the past has taken its toll. Witness to leaders who break their commitment to peace convergence. Their conquest will not control the compassion we hold. Listen intentively, live intentionally. Your ancestors speak. Yours is the pinnacle to peak. You're not alone. Echoes from then and now.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for that very beautiful poem and sizzling, powerful poem. And I have to say that what you said before actually reading your poem was also very poetic, you know, the way you talked about your interactions and your craving and your dialogue with the sunshine, and what the earth said back was also amazing. And thank you for that beautiful poem. Thank you so much, Kate, for joining us. Merry Christmas to you. And now we are going to go over to Christopher and invite him to read his poetry.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to do a couple of poems, if I may. And these are both, despite the bubbly poems that we had a little bit earlier, and I appreciate all the up stuff, I mainly write grim poetry. So this is a couple of poems about poets who committed suicide. Not that we should do that. We should think about the good stuff in life and cling on to that. This is called Devi. The cropped black hair, the boyish Belson skull. Yet you laughed despite the pain, the loneliness, when the announcement was made. The words flowed meaninglessly, lumps of lead spilling on the floor, like flowers strapped to the pillars. Looks like a wake, I'd said. How could I know? Would a phone call have made all the difference? Inside one's joy lives all the pain of others. As I drove home, the moon was slung white and cruel in the January night. A blue cast bathed the construction vehicles, the yet unopened expressway. I thought, they're paving over the world. And this one, as I remarked yesterday on Mesh's open mic, Sylvia Plath had a great effect on my poetry, and this is a poem that I wrote about Sylvia Plath. Like a lost child, she stirs out from the winter trees, dreaming nightmares of boxes, of hooks, of bees, of the void beyond consciousness, dreaming of the hurricane of 38 and the wild sea that raged against grandfather's retaining wall, and the tempest in her mind that drove her like a wave into the crawl space below her house, dreaming of the terrible silence, of the maggots on her face like pearls, and how the pain only oozed through later in her writing like blood, dreaming how Ted Hughes came to her, fellow hungry poet, and how he left her, and how poetry flowed then, flowed as she'd never known it, luminescent, bitter as cyanide, gnawing at the bone of existence, edging her toward disintegration, the repeat horror of an asylum, dreaming how incredibly calm she was as she turned on the taps of the gas oven and she laid her head down, and of how the soft hiss of gas reminded her of the sea. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. The second one was even more powerful than the first. Very touching, very moving. Thank you. Very powerful poem. And the second one,
Appreciate it.
and those words. Thank you so much. And now I think if I am right, I am the only one left, and I am not leaving without reading.
Hello, Pankhuri.
Yes.
Pankhuri, I invited Alicia Kuberska using my link. Alicia from Poland.
Oh, wow. Wow. Great, great. So is she here?
Yes.
I'm here. But I'm Queen of Sweden.
I joined too, Pankhuri. I'm here to...
Yes, I just, because I just checked for you and I'm seeing you only now. So warm welcome. Did you join just now?
No, I mean 10 minutes ago, but just for you to know that I'm here, okay?
Great. Warm welcome to you. Thank you, my friend. So nice to see you. So, ma'am, Alexa, yes, now it is over to you. So nice to see you too. I'm so delighted you could make it. Thank you, Eden, ma'am. Thank you so very much. Yes. So over to you, ma'am. Alexa, I can see Eden ma'am's name, but that's just double fun, right? Christmas fun.
I joke that I am her twin. No. Okay. I will read short poem because there are some people waiting. Kites. Let kites fly high, about print-colored spots on the blue background of the sky and touch the whirling clouds. Let their long tails outline magic signs and mysterious spells to receive a forgotten time. We will feel like children. Let's have joy and laughter again, charm of the carefree moments and the wind. Thank you.
Wonderful. Time of carefree moments and doing. Wow. So beautiful. Thank you so very much, ma'am. I wish you also read the Polish version. Do you want to quickly read the Polish version as well?
Yes, it will be better than English one.
Nice.
Just a moment, please.
Yes.
I must find.
Okay. Should I ask Mircea to read, and then maybe you can read the Polish version?
Yes, I
Or-
will read, but unfortunately my book closed. But I have it.
Okay.
Oh my God, I don't know what. Sorry, so maybe next time.
No worries, no worries. I was just thinking, maybe we could listen to some Polish. So we'll wait for the next time. But thank you for that beautiful poem. And now we are going to go over to Romania.
I have them.
Okay. Okay, so back to Poland. Great.
Latawce, very quickly. Latawce. Pozwólmy latawcom wznieść się wysoko, pomalować barwne plamy na tle nieba, dotknąć bieli kłębiastych chmur. Niech ich długie ogony nakreślą magiczne znaki, tajemnicze zaklęcia, wskrzeszą zapomniany czas. Powraca dzieciństwo, ponownie odkrywamy urok beztroskiej chwili i wiatr. Thank you.
Thank you for running us through it, but some beautiful sound of Polish. Thank you so very much, ma'am. Thanks for joining. Thank you. And now, Mircea Danduta, it's all you. Mircea Danduta, we all know, my dear friends, he has also been instrumental in making this group and putting us all together. A very gifted poet. He's just been awarded in the Czech Republic. That's right, Mircea? You've just been awarded with a very prestigious award in the Czech Republic just a few months ago. He has authored, penned so many beautiful anthologies, including one titled, Please Switch Off Your Mobile Phones. Right, Mircea? A very gifted translator as well. So thank you, a host of a beautiful television show in Romania, where he has invited very many friends from India. So warm welcome to you again, my dear friend, and please treat us to your poem.
Thank you very much. It is a real pleasure and honor for me to be invited here in your show and to participate in it each time you are organizing it. And please allow me to express all my admiration to your energy, to everything you are doing for promoting poetry in all the parts of the world, Indian poetry, international poetry, and everything you are doing for this noble art too, but in the same time, very fragile art to be better known in the world. Thank you very much, Pankhuri. And please allow me also a personal message to the Polish poet Eliza, concerning what she read before. In English, it is that it was very, very beautiful and touching. And now, just for her in Polish, było to bardzo, bardzo krasne. Dziękuję bardzo. So now I'm going to read the poem I prepared for today. And thank you very much, Pankhuri, for giving me the chance of reading this just in this time interval, as it seemed, as it happened to be a very, very busy Sunday for me. I really appreciated this. The title of the poem is Devin Kestel. Getting off the night bus, silent Morava, frozen Danube, ruins, darkness, the Slavic embankment without you, longing to pray, kneeing on the ice, Danube kisses Morava, silence flows into frost, building a snowman, decorating a Christmas tree, lighting it up, reading a poem under it, Christmas with you, falling on the snow, longing for pain, closing eyes, praying for punishment, diving into silence, flowing into frost, your book on the Slavic embankment, ruins, mist, melting into snowfall, snowing all around, getting on the morning bus. Thank you very much. All the best. A wonderful Advent to all wonderful poets here, and a great Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you for that amazing poem. Dear friends, I love this poem. You know, I have had the honor of translating this poem. This was the first poem by Mircea that I translated in Hindi, and I just loved it. Devon Castle, Without You, right? And now that we've talked about this poem, Devon Castle, Without You, I'm also going to share with you something very personal that everybody knows that I am divorced, right? I mean, this is an amazing way of mentioning it, and it's kiddish as well. But had I been married to the same man, it would have been my anniversary today. So that's just a coincidence. But the poem just reminded me of that, Devon Castle, Without You. Yeah. Yes. And if I get too personal, I'll also share something else. Just today, I met somebody whose name is the same name as my ex-husband, and I also told him that. So that was just amazing. And I think now is the time, right? So I think I'm going to read my poem, which is you know, a January poem. It's titled January, and see how it is. Okay, so I will wait for your response to it. Okay, here it goes. Simple, very simple, right? January. I'm just a few days ahead. The calendar's changed. Another year's here, bringing new joy, new mirth, hope giving birth to possibilities countless, days infinite, fresh 365 just listed, work piled up, some carried over, have no fear. Did the old year slip past too soon? Bonfire lit, December chill, New Year's here. New blossoms, new kisses, New Year full of promises, said Santa when visiting. Indeed, he was among us. Bells jingle, memories linger, such soft music around, peace and quiet, love indeed has no sound. Let us pledge, rehearse, repeat in tune, in the name of human race, to live in tandem with nature's bounty, spread love all around. For each of us, love can drench, love can heal, love can cure, love unites. Let us abide with the principle of love, love alone. Make the world safe and sound for everyone to reach out, attain. May we welcome many more New Years again and again. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, dear poets. Thank you for your love, for your support, for all your applause and encouragement, and Happy New Year all over again. And Merry Christmas. May you all have a blast, and we will soon again get together. Till then, bye-bye. And
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Merry Christmas,
everyone.
have a wonderful Advent. All the best, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, Sylvia.